Swamiji told me that he travels nearly 200, 250 days a year and is often, well, giving these sessions and coaching a lot of the top corporates from around the world. So Swamiji, what's the one top theme that you have figured out in the last year of your travels when you do meet the who's who of the corporate world?
Yeah. First of all, a very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't look like you're very happy seeing me, guys. A very good afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's begin with a little bit of rush at Mindrush. So it's my great pleasure, privilege and honor to be here this afternoon, and I want to sincerely thank Business Today, India Today, for having me over here for this conversation this afternoon. And thank you, Aayush, for that introduction, and thank you for that question. What is it that in the last 1 year I have observed across corporates? And in fact, 1 year could probably be a short time frame, but overall in the modern times, what is it that we are looking at in the corporate world in terms of leadership? Here we have successful leaders being recognized, appreciated, and rewarded for their incredible leadership traits this evening. And in fact, it's a little bit embarrassing. Can you imagine a monk like me sitting here in front of top performing C-level executives who are all going to be rewarded, and I begin the session? Can you imagine how embarrassing that could be? It only says one thing: narratives are changing. I feel over a period of time, to me, there are 4 things that really distinguish a good leader from others. And the first thing is the curiosity to always know and learn. The humility and the vulnerability to say that I don't know. A lot of times the blind spot of having achieved a certain amount of knowledge is to think that I've cracked it and I know it. Innovation, creativity, growth comes from curiosity and the vulnerability and humility to say that, well, this is what I don't know. Growth comes from not this line that I know. Growth comes from I don't know, which means I have the curiosity to learn. You know, engineers are sometimes people who have solutions to problems that don't exist. Any engineers in the house here? Okay, brilliant. There was a very popular mechanical engineer, right? Extremely popular mechanical engineer. And back in the day during World War II, he had gone to fight in the World War II, and his main task was to really repair the engines of the tanks, because he was a mechanical engineer. After the World War II was over, he was from Italy. He got back to Italy and just thought to himself that all these tanks and their engines are still lying at the war site. What if I get those tanks, engines back in Italy and do something about it? He brought those engines back and started a tractor manufacturing company. And it did so extremely well that he had this dream desire to buy a fancy car. How many of you would like to buy a fancy car? Okay, sorry. I'm talking to C-level. How many of you already would like to buy a car better than you have?
A lot more hands have gone up.
A lot more hands up. You know, I always... How many of you saw the movie Diwar? In Diwar, how many of you saw that dialogue between Amitabh Bachchan and Shashi Kapoor, where Amitabh Bachchan said, "Mere paas bangla hai, gaadi hai, naukar hai, chakar hai, tere paas kya hai?" That's senti swag. Mere paas maa hai. Cut to 2023, the dialogue has changed, guys. Mumbai. Amitabh Bachchan, mere paas Lamborghini hai, mere paas Ferrari hai, mere paas Bentley hai, mere paas Rolls Royce hai. Tere paas kya hai? Shashi Kapoor, mere paas parking space hai. Because in a city like Mumbai, parking space is more valuable than the car, I'm supposing, you know. So this gentleman, this engineer, had this dream to buy a sports car. And back in the day, the only upmarket sports car was Ferrari. He purchased a Ferrari. Day 1, he realized that there was a problem with the accelerator, there was a problem with the brakes. he decided to go and speak to the founder and owner of Ferrari Motors, Enzo Ferrari. He said, look, sir, your car is fantastic. There's an issue there. There's a problem there. The issue of knowing it all is it closes our ears and our minds to learn, to know from others, and therefore stunts our growth. He said, there's a problem with your accelerator and brake. If you could just sort that out, boy, there's nobody who's going to smash you out there in the market. And guess what? The typical, stereotypical response of an accomplished business house, thinking I know it all, I've sorted it all, I've put it all in place, I've smashed it all through, which means nobody else can tell me what I should be doing, and there's no scope for knowing more than what I know. He said, you're a mechanical engineer, get lost, man. The guy went home, and he thought to himself, bloody, who the hell is he to tell me this? I'll probably start my own sports car line. And he started his own sports car company. The engineer's name was Mr. Ferruccio Lamborghini. Right. Mr. Ferruccio Lamborghini. If this gentleman would have just been open to listening, the curiosity to learn, to correct, to know, to listen, A, he would have grown. B, he would have probably not created his own competition. And which is why the first thing I feel very crucial is curiosity. The second thing, good leaders, and I'm sure because you are here, you've been rewarded, you have that in you, and there's no end to how much we can refine and own it. The second aspect is adaptability. Right? So crucial to be adaptable constantly, like earlier it was mentioned, we live in a VUCA world. Everything's volatile, so uncertain, so complex, so ambiguous. I mean, look at how things are changing so rapidly. Language has changed. A boy is asking his mom, when was I downloaded, mom? Thank God he didn't ask when was I uploaded. Sorry. You know, such a rapid change. Generation gap is 20 minutes. Generation gap is 20 minutes because by the time 20 minutes have passed by, the app is updated. The one before was an older generation app. Such a rapidly changing, fast-paced world, you know. And which is precisely why adaptability is so crucial. In the year 2009, there was a smartphone that was smashing it in the market. Absolutely smashing it in the market. Some of the biggest leaders of the United States swore by it, saying we will not ever live our lives without the smartphone. And the one issue with the gentleman who was leading the company was he thought that this is how it will be. He thought that people will only use smartphones for sending emails and calling. Why do we need an internet browser and a phone? Cut to 2014, and as soon as one other company started introducing internet browsers on the phone, in the year 2014, their market share dipped down to 1%. Why? Lack of adaptability. There were 7 words that are the biggest enemy of organizational and leaders. We have always done it this way. We have always done it this way. Markets don't care. Our competition doesn't care. Changing times don't care. The rapidly changing generations don't care. The only person who cares is the person who is so rigid in his or her opinions and beliefs. Therefore, it's very crucial to be very strong in one's values, very firm with one's values, but very flexible with one's belief.